Welcome back to our channel, Soap Fans. Today is an absolutely beautiful day to dive headfirst into the juiciest, most explosive drama Los Angeles has to offer. We have the ultimate insider scoop on the latest Forrester, Logan, and Spencer betrayals. Buckle up, and let's get right into the action. The fuse has been lit, the grenade pin pulled, and the inevitable explosion is finally tearing through the pristine halls of Los Angeles high fashion in a catastrophic collision of fate. Two legendary dynasties are violently crashing into one another, and the collateral damage is going to be absolutely devastating. The battle lines have been drawn in blood, corporate espionage, and unforgivable romantic betrayals. Steffy Forrester Finnegan does not knock. She does not wait for an invitation. She storms through the sleek, modern glass doors of Logan Designs like a hurricane of pure, unadulterated Forrester fury. The air in the executive suite instantly drops 10 degrees as Steffy locks eyes with her ultimate rival. Steffy is here for blood, marching straight up to Hope Logan Spencer with a fiery vengeance burning in her eyes. Steffy unleashes a venomous verbal assault, accusing Hope of pulling the grenade pin and intentionally destroying the fragile peace between their warring families. Steffy expects Hope to cower. She expects the usual tears, the apologies, the desperate need for Forrester approval. But Hope Logan Spencer does not flinch. Standing her ground with a spine of absolute steel, Hope stares directly into Steffy's furious eyes and officially declares war. The days of the weeping, accommodating Logan daughter are dead and buried. Hope boldly fires back, her voice dripping with newfound confidence and venom. She tells Steffy, in no uncertain terms, that she absolutely loves her new position at Logan Designs. For the first time in her entire career, Hope feels genuinely respected, valued, and unleashed. She is no longer suffocating under the heavy, judgmental shadow of Forrester Creations. Hope takes a step forward, invading Steffy's personal space, and delivers a chilling reality check. She fully embraces her new power. She is ready to use every single ounce of her creative genius and marketing talent to completely crush the Forrester empire. The corporate gloves are off. The boundaries between personal family loyalty and ruthless business ambition have been completely obliterated. As Steffy glares at her, a dark, dangerous realization washes over Hope. She knows that to win this high-stakes fashion war, she must become absolutely ruthless. She cannot afford a single moment of weakness or hesitation. She is ready to go head-to-head with Steffy, and she is fully prepared to cross Ridge Forrester to secure her ultimate victory. Hope is completely unapologetic, ready to burn the Forrester legacy to the ground if it means elevating Logan Designs to the undisputed top of the fashion world. Steffy realizes, with a sickening jolt of panic, that she has created a monster she can no longer control. Across town, a completely different kind of explosion is detonating, leaving a trail of shattered hearts and broken loyalties. Will Spencer slowly opens his eyes, and the crushing, suffocating weight of his catastrophic mistake instantly slams into his chest. He is not alone. He turns his head and sees Melissa Dillon lying next to him. Dillon is not hiding her face in shame. She is not apologizing for crossing the line. Instead, Dillon is wearing a triumphant, unapologetic grin. She has officially won the prize she has been scheming for, completely shattering the sacred girl code without a single ounce of remorse. Will feels physically sick. The reality of his betrayal washes over him in a sickening wave. He has just slept with his ex-girlfriend's best friend, a move that guarantees total, absolute destruction. Before Will can even begin to process the magnitude of his disastrous choices, the door swings open. Wyatt Spencer marches into the room, taking one look at the chaotic aftermath and instantly assessing the damage. Wyatt is not here to coddle his younger brother. He delivers a harsh, rapid-fire Spencer reality check. Wyatt demands that Will stop wallowing in self-pity and defeat. Wyatt reminds Will that he is a Spencer, and Spencers do not simply roll over and accept a loss. Fueled by Wyatt's intense, aggressive intervention, a sudden spark of desperate resolve ignites within Will. He realizes he cannot let this one catastrophic mistake dictate the rest of his life. He refuses to lose the woman he truly loves. Will suddenly decides that he is going to fight for Elektra Forrester. He is going to march straight into enemy territory, face the music, and do whatever it takes to win her back, no matter how brutal the fallout might be. Will furiously throws on his clothes, his jaw set with fierce determination. He leaves a grinning Dylan behind, racing across Los Angeles to Forrester Creations. He is preparing his apologies, calculating his moves, and bracing himself for the fight of his life. He storms into the Forrester building, his heart pounding in his chest, desperate to find Elektra and explain the unexplainable. But Will is walking straight into a slaughterhouse. When Will finally tracks down Elektra in the Forrester executive office, the temperature in the room is freezing. Elektra is standing there, her arms crossed, her eyes blazing with a level of disgust and hatred that stops Will dead in his tracks. She already knows. The explosive truth about Will and Dylan's night of passion has already reached Elektra's ears, and the betrayal has completely shattered her world. Will tries to speak, tries to step forward and launch into his desperate apologies, but Elektra cuts him off with a vicious, cutting remark. She looks at Will not as a man who made a mistake, but as a repulsive, unforgivable traitor. She screams at him, her voice echoing through the halls of Forrester Creations. She tells Will that he is dead to her. Sleeping with her best friend the moment they hit a rough patch is the ultimate, unforgivable betrayal. Elektra's fury is not just directed at Will. She spins around, her eyes locking onto Dylan, who has just confidently strolled into the office. Dylan does not look guilty. Dylan does not look sorry. Dylan stands there, offering Elektra a small, calculating, triumphant smile that absolutely makes Elektra's blood boil. The sheer audacity of Dylan's unapologetic smirk pushes Elektra over the edge into pure, unadulterated vengeance. Elektra turns her wrath toward the Forrester management. She demands immediate, ruthless action. Elektra screams that Dylan must be fired from Forrester Creations this exact second. She leverages her family name, her bloodline, and her position within the company to demand Dylan's immediate termination. Elektra makes it crystal clear. It is either her or the backstabbing traitor who slept with her boyfriend. This explosive demand instantly plunges Forrester Creations into a massive corporate crisis. Steffi Forrester, Finnegan, and Ridge Forrester are suddenly thrust into a brutal management dilemma. Ridge, who absolutely despises workplace conflict and wants to keep the peace, is cornered. Steffi, who actually adores Dylan as a hard-working, talented employee, is deeply conflicted. But Elektra is family. The pressure is immense, and the office is holding its collective breath as the fate of Dylan's career hangs in the balance. Will watches in sheer horror as the woman he loves transforms into a ruthless, vindictive force of nature, ready to destroy Dylan's livelihood out of pure spite. Just when Will thinks the situation cannot possibly get any worse, the ultimate opportunist swoops in for the kill. R.J. Forrester steps into the chaotic office, instantly assessing the explosive dynamic and recognizing the perfect opportunity to strike. R.J. does not hesitate. He moves smoothly, confidently stepping directly between Will and Elektra. R.J. plays the role of the supportive, protective hero to absolute perfection. He gently places a comforting hand on Elektra's shoulder, pulling her away from Will's toxic presence. R.J. speaks to Elektra in soft, reassuring tones, validating her anger and amplifying her disgust toward Will. R.J. is capitalizing on Will's massive downfall with ruthless precision. He is pulling Elektra firmly to his side, wrapping her in a protective Forrester embrace while simultaneously icing Will out of the picture. R.J. shoots Will a dark, mocking glare over Elektra's shoulder. It is a look of absolute victory. RJ is wordlessly telling Will that the battle is over, and the Spencer heir has officially lost. RJ is using Elektra's heartbreak and Dylan's betrayal to permanently secure his own romantic position. He is manipulating the chaos to ensure that Elektra never looks at Will again. Will stands frozen in the middle of the Forrester office, the walls completely closing in on him. He looks at Elektra, whose face is buried in RJ's chest. He looks at Dylan, who is still wearing that infuriating, victorious smile, completely unfazed by the threat to her job. He looks at RJ, who is smugly claiming the woman Will desperately loves. The horrifying reality of his situation crashes down on Will with the force of a freight train. The path to redemption is not just difficult. It is an impossible, insurmountable mountain. He has handed his worst enemy the ultimate weapon. He has shattered the trust of the woman he loves. He has ignited a vicious corporate war within Forrester Creations. Will realizes that fighting for Elektra is going to be the most brutal, agonizing journey of his entire life, and he is entirely surrounded by enemies who want to see him burn. The Spencer heir is completely isolated, facing a terrifying uphill battle where every single move could trigger another massive explosion. The fashion world is officially a war zone. Hope is sharpening her knives at Logan Designs, ready to slaughter the Forrester legacy. Steffi is trapped in a corporate nightmare, forced to choose between family loyalty and business sense. Dylan is playing a dangerous, unapologetic game of romantic roulette. RJ is ruthlessly securing his prize. Will Spencer is standing in the ashes of his own catastrophic mistakes, preparing for a war he might not survive. Will Hope destroy Forrester, and can Will ever win back Elektra? Next, a ticking time bomb is resting in the shadows of the Forrester Creations design room, and its detonation is an inevitable collision of fate, greed, and high-stakes consequences. The battle lines have been drawn, but the real war is starting in the womb. Since Melissa Dillon first arrived on the glamorous scene of The Bold and the Beautiful, viewers have been highly suspicious of her every move. Fans have speculated for months that her innocent, good girl demeanor is nothing more than a carefully constructed act. She played the ultimate victim. She played the homeless waif. She played the desperate friend in need of a roof over her head. But beneath that sweet smile lies a calculating predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Dylan does not have family money to fall back on. She does not have a trust fund waiting for her. She has nothing but her ambition and her cunning instincts. She knows exactly how the elite of Los Angeles operate. She knows that bloodlines are everything. And she knows that if she gets pregnant with a Spencer baby, she will be set for absolute life. The morning after her shocking night of passion with Will Spencer, the dynamic violently shifted. Will woke up groaning, his head pounding with the crushing weight of his catastrophic mistake. Dylan woke up grinning. Her smile was radiant, triumphant, and utterly unapologetic. She broke the ultimate girl code by sleeping with her best friend's ex-boyfriend, but she did not care. She had her eyes on a much bigger prize. The physical connection was just the first phase of her master plan. The second phase is securing the Spencer bag permanently. Upcoming spoilers reveal that Dylan is about to take a pregnancy test in the sleek, mirrored bathrooms of Forrester Creations. She will stare down at the plastic stick, her heart pounding with ruthless anticipation. 2 pink lines will appear. A positive result, a golden ticket, a one-way pass to the Spencer Billions. Dylan will clutch that test like a winning lottery ticket, already envisioning the beachfront mansions, the designer wardrobes, and the endless child support checks signed by Dollar Bill Spencer himself. She will march over to the beach house, ready to drop the ultimate bombshell on Will. She expects him to be shocked. She expects him to be overwhelmed. She even expects him to be a little angry at first. But she fully expects him to step up, claim his child, and open his massive wallet. Dylan's grand plans are about to fall apart in the most spectacular, devastating fashion imaginable. Well, Spencer is not in a good place right now. He is spiraling. He is desperate. He is completely, hopelessly, and madly still in love with Elektra Forrester. Will realizes that sleeping with Dylan was the biggest mistake of his entire life. He is currently facing the wrath of the Forster family. He is facing outrageous accusations. He is completely isolated. But after a brutal reality check from his older brother, Wyatt Spencer, Will has made a firm decision. He is not giving up. He's going to fight for Elektra. He is going to wage an all-out war to win back the woman he truly loves. When Dylan surprises Will with a positive pregnancy test, she is not going to get the reaction she hoped for. She expects a reluctant acceptance. She receives pure, unadulterated Spencer ruthlessness. Will's eyes will turn ice cold. The blood of dollar bills Spencer runs thick in his veins, and in this moment of sheer panic, that dark legacy will take over. Getting pregnant by Will is going to backfire horribly for Dylan. Will knows that a baby with Dylan is the final nail in the coffin for his relationship with Elektra. Elektra is already horrified. She is already demanding that Steffi fire Dylan from Forster Creations. If Elektra finds out that Dylan is carrying Will's child, the door to reconciliation will be slammed shut, locked, and burned to the ground. Will cannot let that happen. He refuses to let R.J. Forster win. According to explosive upcoming spoilers, Will is going to back Dylan into a corner. He will not offer her a ring. He will not offer her a mansion. He will offer her a terrifying ultimatum. Will might force Dylan to sign an ironclad non-disclosure agreement. He might demand that she never breathe a word of this pregnancy to anyone in Los Angeles. Or, even darker, Will might aggressively encourage her to have the pregnancy terminated. He will make it crystal clear that this child will never be acknowledged as a Spencer. He will tell her that she will get nothing. No money, no status, no family. The last thing Will needs is a pregnant Dylan popping up with a growing baby bump, parading around Forster Creations, and destroying any surviving chance of a Elektra reunion. He will threaten to use the full weight of the Spencer media empire to destroy her reputation if she dares to go public. Dylan will be left standing in the beach house, completely stunned. Getting pregnant with Will Spencer's baby should have been her golden goose. It should have been her ultimate victory. But it is incredibly hard to secure massive child support payments when your baby father refuses to admit you even exist. If Will denies paternity, drags out the legal process, and uses Bill's lawyers to bury her in paperwork, Dylan will be completely destitute before the baby is even born. She will realize in a horrifying flash that she has played her cards entirely wrong. She cannot force Will to love her. She cannot force Will to pay her without a massive, public, exhausting legal war that she cannot afford to fight. Dylan will storm out of the beach house, her mind racing, her heart pounding with sheer panic. Whether Dylan got pregnant for the wrong reasons is now entirely irrelevant. At the end of the day, the cold, hard reality sets in. She is alone. She is broke. She knows she cannot support a baby on her own. She needs money. She needs security. She needs a new plan, and she needs it immediately. Dylan's predatory instincts will kick into high gear. She will start scanning the elite circles of Los Angeles for a new mark. She needs someone desperate. She needs someone wealthy. She needs someone who wants a baby more than anything else in the world. Conveniently, the universe is about to drop the perfect targets right into her lap. There's a powerful, wealthy couple on the bold and the beautiful that just received the most devastating news of their lives. Carter Walton and Daphne Rose Walton are currently living through an absolute nightmare. Dr. Lee Finnegan just delivered a crushing medical diagnosis. Daphne is going through early menopause. She is completely infertile. Daphne and Carter's beautiful dream of starting a family naturally has been violently derailed. Daphne is sinking into a deep, paralyzing depression. She feels inadequate. She feels heartbroken. Carter is trying to stay strong. He is putting on a brave face for his wife, but privately, he is struggling to hold himself together. They are desperate. They are grieving. And they are actively considering adoption or surrogacy to fill the massive void in their hearts. Dylan works closely with Daphne at Forster Creations. She is Daphne's assistant. Dylan will observe this tragedy unfolding firsthand. She will see the tears. She will hear the whispered conversations. She will watch Carter gaze longingly at families in the park. She will watch Daphne break down in the design room. And a twisted, brilliant, sinister idea will form in Dylan's calculating mind. Dylan finds another way to make money off Will's baby. If Will refuses to buy his own child, Dylan will simply sell the baby to the highest bidder. She will approach Carter and Daphne with a proposition that will shake the very foundation of their marriage. Dylan will corner Daphne in a private office at Forrester Creations. She will lock the door. She will look the devastated perfumier in the eye and drop the ultimate bombshell. Dylan will reveal that she is pregnant. She will reveal that she cannot keep the baby. And then she will make an offer they cannot refuse. Dylan will offer to give Carter and Daphne her unborn child. She will offer them the family they have been desperately praying for. But it will not be an act of charity. It will be a cold, hard business transaction. Dylan will demand an astronomical sum of money. She will demand a massive payout, disguised as living expenses and medical costs for a private, off-the-books adoption. She will demand enough money to set herself up for life, completely bypassing the Spencer fortune and tapping directly into Carter Walton's lucrative legal and corporate wealth. Will Daphne and Carter offer Dylan an amount she cannot refuse to adopt her baby? Daphne will be completely blindsided. The ethical implications are staggering. The legal risks are massive. But the primal, desperate desire to hold a child in her arms will cloud Daphne's judgment. Daphne will look at Dylan not as a manipulative schemer, but as an absolute savior. Carter, however, will be horrified. He is a lawyer. He is the chief operating officer of Forrester Creations. He knows that buying a baby from a desperate employee is a massive violation of ethics, the law, and basic human decency. Carter will immediately try to shut the deal down. He will warn Daphne that Dylan cannot be trusted. He will suspect that there is a dark catch to this miraculous offer. He will demand to know who the father is. Dylan will lie. She will spin a tragic tale of a one-night stand with a nameless stranger. She will never reveal that the baby carries the powerful Spencer bloodline. Because if Carter knows the baby belongs to Will Spencer, he will immediately march over to Bill and Katie to expose the truth. Dylan will play the ultimate game of emotional manipulation. She will prey on Daphne's intense grief. She will tell Daphne that if they do not take the baby, she will be forced to terminate the pregnancy. It is a ruthless, calculated bluff designed to force Carter's hand. Daphne will beg Carter to agree. She will plead with him to pay Dylan whatever she wants. Daphne will see this as their one and only chance to have a newborn baby without waiting years on a traditional adoption list. Carter will be torn between his rigid moral compass and the overwhelming tears of the woman he loves. This sinister baby broker deal will create a massive, explosive shockwave through the Forrester and Spencer families. If Carter and Daphne agree to pay Dylan, they will inadvertently become accomplices to the biggest secret in Los Angeles. They will be raising a Spencer heir right under the noses of Bill, Katie, and Will. Meanwhile, Will is going to be fighting a completely different war. He will be pulling out all the stops to win Elektra back. He will be sending flowers. He will be making grand romantic gestures. He will be aggressively pushing R.J. Forrester out of the picture. Will believes that he has successfully neutralized the Dylan threat. He believes his dark ultimatum worked. He has no idea that his unborn child is being used as a high-stakes bargaining chip just down the hall at Forrester Creations. Elektra is currently demanding that Steffi fire Dylan. Elektra is furious that Dylan broke the girl code. Steffi is caught in a brutal management dilemma. She adores Dylan's work ethic, but Elektra is family. If Dylan suddenly secures a massive payout from Carter and Daphne, she will not need the Forrester job anymore. Dylan could dramatically quit, throwing her resignation right in Elektra's face with a triumphant, wealthy smirk. Elektra will be left completely baffled by Dylan's sudden influx of cash and confidence. The tension in the Forrester building will reach a boiling point. Every single character is operating on secrets, lies, and desperate ambitions. Bill Spencer is currently dealing with the terrifying medical collapse of Katie Logan. He's distracted. Ridge Forrester is boiling with rage over Will's violent assaults. He is distracted. Steffi is agonizing over the terrifying risk of welcoming Sheila into the family to save Finn. She is distracted. Dylan has found the absolute perfect blind spot to execute her ultimate scam. She is moving in the shadows, pulling the strings of a grieving couple to secure her own financial empire. But secrets this massive never stay buried forever on the bold and the beautiful. Eventually, the truth about the baby's paternity will claw its way to the surface. Perhaps the baby will be born with a rare medical condition that requires a biological match. Perhaps Will suffer a sudden crisis of conscience and demand to know what happened to his child. Perhaps R.J. Forrester will stumble upon Dylan's medical records and use the explosive information to destroy Will once and for all. When the truth finally drops, the fallout will be apocalyptic. Bill Spencer will unleash a wrath unlike anything Los Angeles has ever seen when he discovers his grandchild was sold on the black market. Katie will rise from her hospital bed with a vengeance to claim her flesh and blood. Carter could face disbarment and total professional ruin for participating in an illegal adoption scheme. Daphne will face the ultimate heartbreak of having her child ripped from her arms by the powerful Spencer legal machine. And Elektra will realize that Will lied to her face, hiding a pregnancy while begging for her forgiveness. The Elektra romance will be shattered into a million irreparable pieces. Melissa Dillon came to Los Angeles with nothing, but she is about to burn the entire city to the ground to get everything she wants. She is proving to be one of the most dangerous, calculating, and ruthless characters to ever walk the halls of Forrester Creations. She is not a victim. She is a mastermind. The next few weeks of The Bold and the Beautiful are going to be a relentless, high-speed thrill ride of betrayal and blackmail. Will Dylan successfully sell the Spencer heir to the highest bidder? Will Carter compromise his entire moral foundation to save his wife from her crushing depression? Will Spencer's dark, ruthless tactics come back to destroy his only chance at true love? Will Dylan's sinister baby deal destroy two powerful families forever? Drop your boldest theories in the comments below, hit that subscribe button, and never miss a scandalous update.